Check it out, everyone. This is Jorcation. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be on how you can be a high value man, how you can be a high value woman as well. But typically, this video is being made for how you can be a high value man. It's pretty simple. Honestly, that's how you got to think of things. You got to think of things to be very, very simple. I would say, firstly, take a step back, look in the mirror, look at yourself, your accomplishments, all of the things you might have done leading up to the point of where you are currently in your situation. And you need to, ask yourself, like, am I fulfilled? Am I happy with what I'm doing? Am I in a position right now where I believe that I'm proud of my accomplishments? If you think so, great, happy days, congratulations, honestly. And if you don't think so, then of course there is some work that we need to do. There's some work that we need to get done. I might be talking, I always like to say we, because I like to believe in, I like collectives, I like people working as a team. These are all ways you can get things done. It takes two to get a lot of things done in most cases. So personally speaking, if I'm in a group of people, I'd rather all of us contribute equally as a team. So when I'm speaking like this, guys, I say we. So as a high value man, that's myself, I'm confident enough to say that, some of the accomplishments that I would believe some people need to take is looking at skills that they can accomplish, some skills that they can be unique at, some skills they can take that's going to help them elevate and get to the next level. Some of these skills that I'm taking right now are the Chartered Financial Analyst Level 1 exam that's scheduled for the end of the year. These are all things I'm doing right now to lead up to being more skilled in the roles that I'm pursuing, in the job that I'm pursuing, in the job that I'm doing today. These are all things that are helping me. Yes, I've got to commit a lot of time to studying. If you ask me, Jordan, is it worth it? I believe so, because of course the standard educational route isn't enough in today's day and age to be the best at what you do. Going back to how you can be a high value man, of course, take skill courses, of course, try and evolve physically, mentally, psychologically as well. You want to be able to respond to adversity just like that. For instance, I was on a show called Pop the Balloon. I had a balloon popped on me. I need to know how to respond to rejection. Of course, as a high value man, you need to know how you can navigate certain scenarios like that on camera, on live, with friends that might, give you a hard time. You need to know how to control your frustrations. If you're upset, you need to know how to, triggers and how to, just be a more positive version of yourself. These are all things that I would say a high value man needs to know how to do. And in order for you to do these things, of course, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and understand what you were doing wrong, understand what you're doing right, and make necessary steps in how you can accomplish those things. Now, I'm 26 years old. Honestly speaking, I have learned a lot in my short life so far. I mean, there are a lot of people who are much older than me and a lot of people that are much younger than me that might accomplish more or accomplish a lot less. Ultimately, it's never too late. In my personal opinion, I had people in my class at university that were in their 60s and 70s, surprisingly. There was a lady that was actually studying in her 70s that I met. I believe she was studying at University College London. Great person. I believe she was in nursing school. But ultimately, it's never too late. If you want to pursue a dream, I don't believe there's an age limit on that. Ultimately, it might come with its own challenges of people saying, "Oh, you can't do it." "Oh, why is this person here?" They might make you not feel welcome. But ultimately, these are all things on your journey leading up to your desired goal, which is going to make you that high value person. And of course, these are all things you can learn from, people you can meet, network with. These are all how you will learn to kind of manage different scenarios that you might have later on in your career, in your life. This is where you really set the tone. So of course, being high value is more than just the surface level things in my perception, which might be, the designer, maybe the Tom Ford, or maybe the jewelry, the Rolexes, the APs, all these different things are nice. People appreciate the workmanship that's gone in to wear these nice jewelry and to wear these nice pieces of art. Of course, that is a accomplishment, that is a trophy. We understand that, and of course it does take a lot of financial discipline to be able to afford these things and not have to worry as much as you would need to, especially if you want to afford it. But the harsh reality is, does that make you high value? No, it doesn't. What does make you high value is how you treat people. What does make you high value is how happy you are when you take those jewelry things off. You know, when you look in the mirror, when you look at your accomplishments, besides the jewelry, don't get me wrong, it could be amazing. It could be a one-of-one piece or the Travis Scott AP. It could be amazing because honestly, if I had that, happy days. My point is, if you want to be a high-value person, you want to respond to adversity with great morale, you know, look at the people around you as well, you know, and, you know, these are all people that can help you, whether that's family, friends, you know, they might be able to give you advice and help towards certain things. If people might be giving you advice, listen, you know, be more open-minded to learning and understanding where you might go wrong as well. You know, sometimes people might not be in those scenarios where they might have friends or people that can support them. So my personal opinion is put your time and effort, the spare time and effort into maybe going to the gym, get physically fit. If you're the type of person that loves fast food, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, you have to find a balance. You know, if you want to have goals where you want to look like a amazing physique, you have to do what it takes. You know, these are all things that I wouldn't just assume you would jump straight into, but you have to take the leaps. You have to start somewhere, you know. You've got to walk, then start jogging, then start running, and before you know it, you might even be cooking in Usain Bolt. Who knows? So that's how it starts, and ultimately it's a race. At some point, I may be faster than Usain Bolt, you know. So, you know, we just have to keep going, persevering, and when the adversity comes our way, we respond to it in an according way. You know, I was popped and popped the balloon. I'm not crying about it, of course, but I am talking about it. Does that make me bothered? Probably, but how am I responding to it? These are the questions that I would ask myself. How am I responding to it? What am I doing today to make me better so that if I got rejected tomorrow, am I going to be crying about it again? If I wasn't crying, I don't think I was crying before, but it's just those small things and examples that I have now that can just make me and propel me to be even better in the future. You know, the work I'm doing now, the invisible work that I'm doing now, you know, everyday working, you know, trying to be the best version of myself. These are the things you do so you can be a great example as well, so you can lead. You know, that is what a high value person is. Someone that can take the initiative, lead, you know, someone that maybe if you've overcome a lot in your life, whether, you know, you could be anything really and truly, you could have gone through so much trials and tribulations in your life. You know, you've come out of that, you've done really well, you know, and now, you know, people might look at you and be like, wow, that's such a massive difference in who you are as a person. Like, that is inspiring someone. I would personally say you're a high value person, regardless of whether you've got a doctorate in philanthropy, if you can get a doctorate in philanthropy, or you can get a doctorate in finance, you're a financial doctor. You know, it doesn't matter. If you've been able to accomplish things that a lot of people can't accomplish, or been through hardships that a lot of people have been through, and you've overcome that, in my personal opinion, is also a high value, because you can inspire a lot of people, you know. And also there is a lot of people who don't even earn up to 10, 20, 30 pounds a month, you know. So to some degree, of course, we are, especially if you're watching this video, I would say you're in a position right now where you can do a lot. You know, if you have the internet, you can watch that. You know, be appreciative, take the initiative, and do great things. We have the opportunity to. So if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. I want to say thank you for watching. This is Jorcation. I'm back again with another video coming. So daily uploads 5 times a day. Subscribe. Peace.
Sometimes I feel like the target.